Hey friends, we're in Chapter 7, Section 7.5, and we're using the percent equation. Percent equation is going to come directly out of what we know the percent proportion. So let's pay close attention to how this concept has developed. So if we look at our vocabulary, the percent equation is an equivalent form of the percent proportion in which the percent is written as a decimal. So we remember the percent proportion. We've got part over whole is equal to the percent over 100. If I were to take my percent over 100 and actually change this fraction into a decimal, I would get part over whole is equal to the percent, but it will be in a decimal form, right? So think about it. If I had 50% over here, 50 divided by 100 is 0.5. So part over whole is not only equal to percent over 100, but it's equal to the decimal form of the percent. It will be equal to 0.5 in that case. So given this situation, how could I solve this equation? How could I solve for part? How can I get part alone? Hopefully you guys remember that in order to undo what's happening to, we have to undo what's happening to the part or the variable that we want. So in this way, I'm looking at part as the variable. I need to multiply both sides by the whole in order to get the part alone, right? And when I do that, that goes away and I'm left with the following. Part is equal to the percent times the percent, the decimal version of the percent times the whole. So this comes directly from this. And for this particular lesson, we're going to be using this concept. So let's take a look at our first example. Example 1, find the part. So remember, we're using this relationship. Part is equal to the percent in decimal form times the whole. So when I take a look at this problem, I have find 62% of 75. So I'm looking for a part. So I'll leave the word part here, or I could use x or some other variable, and that's equal to, I'm going to write 62% as a decimal. So I'll write 0.62. Remember, to write a percentage as a decimal, we divide by 100, and that means moving the decimal place two places, to the left. And I'm going to multiply by 75. And when I do that, I get that the part I'm concerned with is, I think it was, I don't know, I had the answer somewhere written down here, 46.5. So I get 46.5. So 46.5 is 62% of 75. Let's go on to another example. Here, we're going to find the percent in this case. So again, let's go back to what our new formula is. We know that we've got part is equal to the percent, I'm going to use a shortcut, the decimal version of the percent times the whole. So now that I've got that down, let's plug in some values and see what we have. 287 is what percent of 410? Well, we've got the part. That's 287. So 287 is equal to what percent? We're looking for this value. I'm going to put an x here of 410. 410 is the whole. So I've got times 410. I'm going to make this look a little bit more like what we're used to. So we've got 287 is equal to 410x, where x is going to refer to the decimal version of the percent. And of course, at this point, we're going to divide both sides by 410. And a calculator would be very helpful at this time. And when we use our calculator and we do the division, we get that x is equal to 0.7. So the answer is 0.7%, right? Not quite. Remember, this is the decimal version of the percentage. So 0.7 is the decimal version of the percentage, which tells me that the percentages, move the decimal place back to the right 3 spaces, is 70%. All right, so when you're asked for the percentage, don't forget to change that decimal back into a percent so you can actually answer the question. Let's take a look at example 3. This says find the whole. So again, we're using the same equation. Let's see if you guys remember. Part is equal to the decimal version of the percent times the whole. And so now in this problem, it says we're looking for the whole. Let's check out the vocabulary, the way that it's stated, so we can be sure to be successful when we try our example. So 33 is 55% of what number? 33 is a part that kind of reads there. 33 is 55%. So I'm going to put the 33 here. Is equal to 55%. Remember, the 55 we're writing as a decimal. So that's 0.55 times x. And x is the whole that we're looking for. You guys know how to solve this. We're going to divide both sides by 0.55. And when we do that, we get that x is equal to 60. And there's no change that needs to happen here like last time. So 33 is 55% of 60. And I think hopefully that made sense. And this might actually be easier than the percent proportion. It just depends. But in this section, you're going to use this, and on a test, you can use any one that you like, honestly. All right, so example 4, use the percent equation. So here again, we have a situation. I'm going to put the percent equation down. Again, part is equal to the percent written in decimal form times the whole. All right, let's get to the problem. You want to buy a smartphone that retails for $250. If the sales tax in Philadelphia is 8%, determine the cost. All right, so this seems like a problem that's going to actually take us more than one part, because here's what I see. I see, first of all, we need to figure out what the additional amount that we're going to add on to that $250 is, and that's 8%. So first, I need to figure out what is 8% of 250? So I'm looking for the part here. So I'm going to leave part here. I could use x as we mentioned before. I'm going to write 8% as a decimal, which is 0.08. Remember, I'm moving that decimal place over two spaces. And I'm going to multiply that by 250. With a little bit of calculator action, we can easily see that that part is going to be $20. So the tax that would be added on if you purchase this particular phone in Philadelphia will be $20. So what you need to do to find the total cost is to take the 250 and add to that $20. And a lot of you quickly have gotten $270. So it's going to cost you $270 for that smartphone. But here's what I'd like to do. There is actually a quicker way of doing this. And here's what you need to know. We need to figure out the answer to this question in a way that's going to make sense. I know I'm kind of babbling at this point, but just bear with me. The decimal that we actually could think about is 1.08. Why is this a decimal? Because I want 100% of the original cost plus 8%. So if I did 100% plus 8%, I'd get 108%. Well, how do I write that as a decimal? 1.08. How is this beneficial? Well, watch. If I take my 250, multiply it by 1.08, right? I get, simply put, 270 straight out. So what I've done is I've made the process a little bit shorter. Instead of letting it be a two-step problem, it was just one step. Oh, if I'm going to be charged an additional 8% on the 100%, the original price, I'm just going to write it as 108%, find that out, and I have my answer. So for you guys who are excited to get started with your work, you may do so now. Please let me know if there are any questions or anything seems confusing. For this last problem, you can use either method. If you want to do 2 steps, that's fine, but there is a quicker method, just a 1-step knock it out method, and I'm sure you'll have some examples like that in your problem set. I want you to have an excellent day, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Take it easy.